Yes, can I speak with an officer or somebody that would be in charge of dispatching officers?
Come on in.
Can I help you?
I sure hope so. How are you?
Good.
Boy, you look like an old, like you're related to not McCaslin. Yeah, McCaslin. Well, you could be an offspring of his. Oh my goodness, that's years.
I don't
ago.
have this though.
No, that's years gone by. Been quite many years since I've been around. I used to own the old Bow and Arrow in town, Mr. Saunders.
Okay.
So, my father's services are tonight. His Prospect Memorial.
Okay.
So, his lifelong partner, not wife.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me just get some. I apologize for that.
No, that's quite all right. So, my name is Steve Saunders. UNDERS.
SAUNDERS. Okay.
All right. So, apparently, I was omitted from the obituary.
And you're the son of
I'm
the
the
deceased?
son of the deceased, and apparently, I was omitted by a lifelong partner.
That's his
girlfriend.
father's.
My father's girlfriend.
Okay.
That he's living with. And so I called the Waterbury Republican. I brought down my birth certificate and showed him everything, and they put me.
What's your father's name?
Sherman Lee. Saunders.
And your last name? Okay.
Yeah.
And your father's the deceased.
My father is deceased.
Okay.
So when the Waterbury Republican made the correction and apologized to me,
It's okay. Take a deep breath.
I contacted the funeral service to ask them if they would make the simple adjustment to put my name in there as next of kin. You know, I don't give a hoot that his lifelong partner called her children stepchildren, even though they're not technically stepchildren. That's minuscule. But to omit me as a son, not cool. So I asked them to make the change, and they're like, nope, we're under specific orders not to change it.
Okay. Who's
We are
You're the-
contracted. Yeah,
you're the son of the deceased?
correct.
Are you in charge of the deceased, your father?
No, the person who was had a stroke. I found out they went to her house and heard her. That would be his sister, who was Susan Saunders. So
So who's in charge of the deceased?
it's either
estate?
it's either my sister, which is a Patricia Beanie Saunders, or his lifelong partner. But I can't see a lifelong partner. It would have to be blood. That would have to be
Not
there.
necessarily.
No.
No. So let's say I get sick and I'm going to pass away, and I know they tell me I got cancer, and you just happen to be standing next to me. I have the right to say, okay, I want this gentleman here to be, excuse me, I want this gentleman here to be my executor.
Right.
And you shake hands with me and you promise me that you're going to do what I want you to do. And I put a will together. The executors has the right to make all decisions for that person. Okay, regardless. So they follow through with all their wishes.
So
The executor
So
legally.
they said they're not contracted with me. They're contracted with whoever they're contracted with. They can't give me that information. And my name
This
is
is the funeral
the
home?
funeral service. Yeah, the owner. He came to the door. I just spoke with him. Thought I had it on film. I didn't. I'm filming myself right now.
Okay,
as we're
I don't
speaking.
have a problem with that. Okay.
So I'm like, well, I'll see you this evening at services. You will be met by a police officer at the door. You are not allowed to come into here.
Who said that?
The owner of the funeral home.
Okay. Good, I'm following.
Right. So I was like, yeah, you can't do that. Well, those were the orders that were given. We were already told to have an officer waiting here for you. So I'm going to come here before they call it breach of peace. Cut them off at the pass.
Okay.
Right? So I got on the
And I'm
phone.
glad you came home.
I called up on the phone. I got a hold of my attorney. My attorney says, yeah, no, they can't do that. I don't want to put them on a hot plate. This is not the place to do it. Not a funeral service paying your respects. So he said, unless there's a restraining order out against you or you're causing and disturbing the peace, they cannot stop you as the biological child of a parent from coming to the service. That's just what my attorney's saying.
Well, you better talk to your attorney again. Okay. The funeral home is not owned by a governmental agency. It's owned by a business.
Mm-hmm.
Palmieri Incorporated LLC. I don't know. So it's owned by somebody. So
You mind if you give me this? I'm going to put this on you for my attorney. Can I?
no, you should contact your attorney. If you could put me on film, I don't care.
So go on. So
it's owned. So here you have the right to come here. You don't have the right to come through this window or that door unless you're invited in.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the right to come into this. It's open to the public.
So you're trying to say that
A funeral home is owned by a company. They have the right to. So it'll be different if you were paying for the services and you asked them to do white flowers only. They have to.
So you're saying that they have the right to tell a son.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is you better contact your attorney again,
Right.
and explain to your attorney that that business is owned by a company, not a government. So a company like Oliver's. I'm sorry, it's not Oliver's anymore.
I know. Everything's changing.
So they have the right to admit you entrance there. It's not your right as a citizen to go there and shop if they don't want you in there. Do you understand that?
Well, I have a funny feeling that if they, just my spidey senses, that if they try to stop me from paying respects to my father, that they're going to be liable for a lawsuit themselves.
Well, that's something in the future.
Even though it's a private
No,
location.
when it is a private location, you could sue anybody for anything nowadays.
No, but I just wanted to give you a heads up.
Oh no, no,
I plan on paying respects to my father.
Okay.
I'm not going to have people say, "Why didn't you show up?"
Right, but so are you coming here to tell me, or are you asking me for my opinion?
Well, I'm definitely asking you for your opinion,
Okay.
but at the same time, I'm not going to let somebody cower me to tell me I can't pay respects to my father. So if they want to, it could be a avid threat. It could be a wad of paper.
You just told me 2 seconds ago
That's what they told me.
you went to the.
They told me that they told me that they already hired and contracted an officer to keep me out of there. That was his words. We hired a prospect officer to keep you from entering.
Right. So if they don't want you on their premises, they have the right to keep you out of their premises. It's not a public place.
So they were going to do this in the middle of services?
I guess if you come at the beginning, middle, the end, whatever.
No, but you get what I'm saying.
They tell you-
If I didn't go up there to try to have me added in the obituary, I wouldn't have found any of this out.
Okay.
So in the middle of my father's services, they would have called the police to make a ruckus.
If that's, you said that your father's significant other.
They didn't tell me who made the call. They said whoever paid for the services.
Okay, so let's just assume.
Right.
It's your sister?
It's the only two people that I saw that. So when I called the VA, so he died in the VA. I'm a veteran as well. So I called down to the VA, and they said there's only 2 people that we're allowed to speak to, and they named my sister and a significant other.
Okay.
So if they named those 2.
Okay, so let's just, for argument's sake, let's say hypothetically it is your sister or your father's significant other that is paying for the services and is in charge of the estate of your father.
Mm-hmm.
If they told the entity, which in this case would be the funeral home, they don't want Mr. Saunders there, the son, correct me if I'm getting
No, I'm
the son there, because that's whatever, and then that means that you're not allowed there.
Well, they haven't called you to tell me I'm not allowed there, so therefore I wouldn't be trespassing until they call the police and ask me to leave.
No,
which at that point.
But hold on.
Huh?
You just told me 2 minutes ago that you already went there to discuss the.
I did. But they didn't tell me to get off the property. They didn't tell me to leave. They just said I would be greeted with officers. So I guess I'll be greeted. We'll see how the greeting goes. All right. Have a good day.
Okay. Hopefully I answered your question.
No. This is some sick stuff. So I don't.
Families are always.
I haven't been in town for 20 years when I used to own the old bow and arrow.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't want me here, so they burnt my ass out. Whatever happened to the investigation with the arson? Who knows? Just disappeared.
That's way before.
Yeah. So yeah.
Listen, families could be difficult at times.
Difficult? Omitting a son from the obituary? Yeah, it's a little difficult. All right, nice to meet you.
All right, take care of yourself, right?
Sure.